Hello everyone, and welcome back to TEW 2020. This is Matthew, and we are picking up where we left off. WrestleMania Phase 7 has been and gone. We're starting the new WWE calendar year, I suppose is how I'll put it, with the Raw, NXT and Smackdowns after WrestleMania. Raw opens up, Edge's music hits, the pyro, Edge comes out wearing the WWE Championship, of course, but not the standard one, actually wearing this one, the one he designed himself and never got to use. He showed off on his Chronicle, or 24, I think it was, and yeah, gonna let him use it. This is gonna be the one for his reign, because why not? He gets in the ring, he can hardly get a word out to start because of the cheers from the crowd. Obviously the applause, you deserve it. Everyone happy that Edge is back on top again. And before he can really say anything, he gets to say thank you, he gets to say how happy he is. Before he can really say much, out comes Big E, the Universal Champion. And him and Edge, they congratulate each other. They have a little bit of back and forth about, they both won last night. They both did really well, both the world champions, but over perhaps who is the better superstar, because obviously they've never fought. Big E says he's always wanted to fight Edge. It's a dream match for him and so many, and to be on top of WWE with him now is an honour. But Big E says maybe the old Edge could have beat me, but this one, I don't know. And Edge just kind of smirks and laughs off and says, oh, why don't we find out? The crowd obviously very happy at this prospect, and the two men agree that tonight in the main event, champion versus champion, Big E versus Edge, a big match for post-Mania. 90 rated segment here, got the crowd hot, Shot's a great start, really good segment. Expect nothing less from the two main guys there. And then afterwards, we'll have a little showdown rundown of the Hardcore Championship tournament I mentioned. Showing off the 8 superstars, the matches, as you can see here, Thatcher versus Riddle and Lorcan versus Murphy, both tonight, the winners against each other. And then next week, you got Danny Burch versus Rob Van Dam and Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe, and the winners of that against each other. And then the finals to crown a new hardcore champion happening at Backlash. 40 rated. Expected. A lot of these guys' popularity, obviously, gonna have to start building that up, but hopefully that'll improve as we go along with the hardcore division. And then afterwards, a little segment backstage, MVP, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, Raw Tag Team Champs, obviously. Just, walking around backstage, they bump into Drake Maverick. They do that little bullying thing they kind of do, where they make a joke out of him. And then Drake Maverick points out to them that it seems they're unaware of why he's here. And they say, no, we don't know why you're here. Maybe you should leave. And he says that he's not going anywhere because he is actually the new Raw General Manager. And MVP not very happy about this. He says, you? When I'm here, when I'm available, they go to you? Drake Maverick says, yeah, they did. And you know what? As my first act as general manager, the MVPs will defend their Raw Tag titles tonight against a mystery opponent, he says. And MVP is furious at this development, obviously. But before he says anything that'll get them into more trouble, he just kind of drags Cedric and Ricochet off to prepare for their match later. 58. Yeah, good little segment. Gotta get Drake's popularity up, but he'll be appearing quite a bit, so hopefully that will just happen naturally. And then next up, Hardcore Championship match. Hardcore Championship Tournament first round match. Riddle versus Thatcher. And Thatcher picks up the win. Just over 9 minutes with the pinfall. 50 segment rating. yeah, that's pretty good. 47 for Riddle, 45 for Thatcher. Gonna have to, as I said, hopefully their popularities will just gradually increase whilst the division gets used more and more, and then hopefully the performances go up and then the ratings go up, and yeah, I think that's a good start. And then afterwards, MVPs make their way down to the ring. They're waiting to see who their opponents is, and it is Brie Zongo making their Raw return from NXT. MVP just kind of laughing with Ricochet and Cedric. They're thinking, of all the teams, this is who you pick. And then following up the match, and you have new Raw Tag Team Champions. Tyler Breeze just rolling up Cedric just out of nowhere, picking up the win, and then him and Fandango just slide away, grab the titles, and celebrate on the ramp. MVP and Cedric and Ricochet, they can't believe it. 59 segment rating. Ricochet and Cedric, the MVPs rating wise. Tyler Breeze and Fandango 49, 46. Alright. Yeah. New tag team champions, Brie Zongo picking up the win. And then afterwards, another backstage segment. Maverick in his office with Styles. Styles says, he says to Maverick, "I'm not surprised you've drafted me over." When AJ Styles became a free agent after the Defiant shutdown, he knew he'd have all the brands fighting for him, but Raw obviously felt like the right place. He says he was done with the internet title. It was below a man of his quality, and he's gonna set his sights on bigger and better things now. Before Maverick can really respond, Shayna Baszler and Paul Heyman just storm in. AJ Styles kind of just slipping out, and Shayna Baszler grabs Maverick. It says to Maverick, "You're the GM, right?" And he says, "Yes, I am." She kind of pins him up against the wall, and Paul Heyman kind of leaning in behind her, saying she wants a match tonight. And Maverick says, "Yeah, I can sort out a match for you." And then Baszler just kind of drops him, and the two just walk away. Good little segment there, 56. And then afterwards, Seth Rollins comes out in the ring saying, he hasn't been used much. He hasn't been around much at the moment. But he's back, and he's going to show everybody why Seth Rollins is the best superstar around. Why he is the Messiah. He's going to prove to everyone that he is the only way forward for WWE. And he follows it up with a win against Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas maybe giving him more problems than he thought. Having his little baby face flourish in there, but in the end, the curb stomp from Seth is enough to put him away. 55, 74 for Seth Rollins. Good performance. Seth looked excellent out there, as you'd expect. And then afterwards, another match from the Hardcore tournament here. Danny Burch versus Murphy. And Murphy picks up the win with Murphy's Law. 35. Just got to work up the popularity and the performances and the ratings, as I said multiple times. Then a backstage segment between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, just talking backstage, having a laugh about maybe getting some drinks after the show. And then they both kind of go their separate ways, and then just in the background you can just see a little rambling rabbit poking up out of the, storage boxes or whatever they have backstage. And then afterwards in the ring, Dana Brooke waiting, Shayna Baszler coming out, and before the bell can ring, Shayna just hitting Dana Brooke, then locking in the submission from behind. Dana tapping, but Shayna not releasing. The ref can't get her off her. Asuka's music hitting. She charges to the ring, and Shayna just slides out before Asuka can get there. And Asuka checking on Dana. Shayna obviously not happy after losing her Women's World title to Asuka at WrestleMania. And then afterwards, when that clears after the commercial break or whatever, Chad Gable comes to the ring, new US champ, and he announces the Chad Gable US Invitational, a little open challenge that he says he's going to be doing for an 85. And Sami Zayn accepts the first open challenge. So Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. And Chad Gable picks up the win with the ankle lock, 65. Was hoping for better, but oh well. 79 from Chad Gable. Seems the announcing was the main problem there, but oh well, hopefully some of the ones going forward will be better. And then next up, the main event, Big E versus Edge. Big E makes his entrance, and then Edge just walking backstage towards the curtain to come out when he bumps into AJ Styles. And AJ says, he says congrats to Edge. He says he's always been a big fan of Edge, and he's sure Edge will be a great WWE champion for however long he has it. And he says that whilst you may be great, maybe I'm sure the next champion will be phenomenal. And Edge just kind of smiles, and he says, AJ, you're obviously a amazing wrestler. He knows that, he's seen that. That's clear to everyone. But if AJ or anyone else wants to get near Edge as a shot at the WWE title, then they're going to have to earn it. 85. Good little segment there. And then Edge makes his entrance, pyro and all. And then Big E versus Edge, champion versus champion. 68. It's a back and forth match. It could go either way. But when suddenly the bloodline, the Usos, Roman, Reigns and Jacob Fatu just storm the ring, take out Big E. Edge tries to intervene, but gets met with a spear from Roman Reigns. And the bloodline just beat them down, dragging Big E to the outside, and Jimmy and Jay lifting him up for Roman to hit a shield powerbomb through the announcer's table, as Roman picks up the Universal Championship and just poses with it. It's 68 for the match, 84 from Big E, 78 from Edge. Good match. And as I said, the beatdown after for a 68. Finish the show. 76 overall. Great star, popular in 3 regions. Good show. I think that went well. Hardcore Championship tournament starting. New tag champions. Seth Rollins doing Seth Rollins things. US Open Challenge. Big E and Edge. Rating wise, they probably would have got in the 80s if it wasn't for the screwy finish, but oh well, it wasn't the point to have a great match. Just setting up Roman still wants that Universal Championship, and he doesn't seem to care about who's going to get in his way. And that concludes the Raw after WrestleMania. Moving on now to NXT. And NXT gets right underway here. Angel Garza making his way down to the ring. Angel Garza, of course, had quite a good WrestleMania, leaving it the Cruiserweight and the Defiant Champion. The Defiant Championship, obviously, no longer here. Instead, he'll get equal level championship opportunity, and it appears that will be on NXT. He gets the mic. He announces that he spoke to William Regal, and he is vacating the Cruiserweight title because he's coming for the NXT title. He's got a shot, and he knows if he wants to beat Karrion Kross, he has to put all his focus on that. And to do that, he has to vacate the Cruiserweight title. He can't be distracted. But speaking of distraction, interruption by Sammy Guevara, I think that's how you pronounce it, in WWE. I signed him at some point, in January, I think, from AEW. Guevara, the man who lost the NXT title to Kross, he beat Riddle for it in January, very quickly after debuting, and lost it to Kross in the end, WrestleMania, the week before WrestleMania at TakeOver. There you go. He says that he wants a shot at Karrion Kross's NXT title. He wants to get back what is his, and then he will happily kick Garza's ass as well. They kind of square up to each other before anything can happen. Regal comes out, and he announces in the main event tonight, Sammy Guevara versus Angel Garza. If Sammy Guevara wins, he will be inserted into the NXT title match at NXT TakeOver in your house. 68. Yeah, it's done well. I think Garza looked good. Regal underperformed, but hey ho. Very poor in trying to improvise dialogue. Improvised well. Oh well. Next up here, Keith Lee. Just walking through the locker room, bumps into Ali. Mustafa Ali, the current North American champion, won the belt off Keith Lee. Keith Lee obviously won the internet title at WrestleMania, vacated it, gets a similar shot. Here on NXT, that would be the Mustafa Ali's North American Championship. And they have a bit of back and forth, you know. Ali talking about how he beat the last time, and if Lee wants another shot, go right ahead. And Lee says he might take him up on that. When Cameron Grimes walks by, interrupts, he says Keith Lee already lost to Mustafa Ali, and it is Grimes' time to become North American champion. And Mustafa kind of laughs. Him and Lee have a look at each other, and they say, why don't you show us how good you are tonight in a tag match? Us two against you and whoever you want. And Grimes, he kind of stutters and he's like, you know what, okay. So that's a tag match for later. 65 rated segment there. And next up, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Team Ninja, Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. The winning team earning a women's tag title match at TakeOver in Your House. Women's tag title is going to float around. Obviously, champions currently the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. And Dakota and Raquel get the win here. Just under 8 minutes. Raquel pinning Kaden Carter. 46-7 rating. Casey Catanzaro with the best in-ring performance, 54. Then Raquel, 49. Dakota, 48. Kaden, 47. Good. Excellent chemistry for Team Ninja. That's what we like to see. Segment. Match done well there. Next up, interview between Sarah Schreiber and Sammy Guevara. Sammy just talking about losing to Cross, but how he's back, he's ready, he wants it to win his championship back, and that starts tonight in the main event by beating Angel Garza, 41. And then next up, the MVPs make their way to the ring. MVP, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, and they're not happy. They say they were screwed on Raw by Drake Maverick, and they are done with him. They're here on NXT, and they want a shot at the Cruiserweight title. He says Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, either man is a deserved Cruiserweight champion. The Cruiserweight title vacant now. MVP not waiting around. And Regal comes out and he says, I'm not just going to hand you a Cruiserweight tag team title match. A Cruiserweight title match. But they are bringing in the Cruiserweight tag team titles, as I stuttered a moment ago. And the MVPs, they can have a chance to get in that match. But there are lots of other teams here who are going to want that title, including this new one he's just signed. And then out comes the Swords of Essex, Scotty Essex, and Will Ospreay. Crowd going a bit nuts. And MVP not impressed. And Scott and Will get on the mic, and they say, well, you're just so confident, MVPs. Why don't you show us how good you are? Why don't you show me how good you are right now? And the MVPs happily accepts. So next up, we got Will Ospreay against Ricochet, and Will Ospreay gets the win. The Hidden Blades, 53 for Ospreay, 56 for Ricochet, 55. Okay, Ospreay obviously doesn't quite have the popularity in the States as in the UK and Japan perhaps, but I think I'll be using it quite a bit for now, so that should go up. He gets the win. Swords of Ethics making their debut, making an impact. And then Sarah Schreiber interviewing Angel Garza. Angel Garza says WrestleMania was amazing, becoming a double champion, but just like that, 3 days later, he has no championship around his waist. He plans on that changing. And Guevara in the match, Guevara not in the match, it doesn't matter. At NXT TakeOver in Your House against Karrion Kross, he says he is going to do everything in his power to become the NXT champion. 59, and you've got to come out looking excellent, very good with that. Then a little just fun backstage segment. Cameron Grimes kind of going into the into catering. You know, he's got his wads of money out. The whole $1 billion man he is. He's looking for a tag partner. He asks Cross, Kalisto, Bo Dallas. None of them take him. He goes up to Shelton Benjamin. He says, "Do you want to tag with me?" And Shelton's just like, "Nah." He gets to walk past the camera. Just kind of gets on his knees, kind of grabs his leg. And Shelton's kind of dragging him for a moment. He's saying, "Come on." And Shelton just helps him up and says, You got money, right?" Then Cameron Grimes said, "Yeah, lots of it." And Shelton said, "Okay, let's try and work this out." Puts his arm around him and they kind of walk out. And next up we have a tag match. Dreams and Nightmares with Lucha House Party. And Lucha House Party getting the win here. Grand Metal League rolling up past the Black. And just under 10 minutes. What happened with the ending here? A little bit of miscommunication between Dream and Black. Dream accidentally hitting Black with a super kick. Black staying on his feet a little staggered. Without Nola, Grand Metalik drop kicking off Velveteen Dream into Black, rolling him up, getting the win. 51 for Dorado. Black 53, Dream 46, 36 Metalik, 49 overall. It's done alright. Yeah. Then after the match, a little bit of a confrontation between Dream and Black. Black like, "What the hell was that?" Dream saying it was an accident, and Dream putting out his hands as an apology. Black just kind of dismissing it, just leaving the ring, walking away. 65. Sarah Struber interviewing Dakota and Raquel Gonzalez. They're happy they won. They've got a women's tag title match now, and they say when it comes to it, NXT TakeOver in your house, they will be leaving your new women's tag team champions. Next up, Mickie James versus Shotzi Blackheart. Mickie James beating her with the Mickie DT for 33. James with 39. And then after the match, Mickie James gives a promo. She says NXT's women's champion Tegan Nox. She's so young. Maybe she can't handle being the NXT women's champion, shown by her injury at the moment, out for about a month, I think. She says NXT deserves a women's champion who's going to be here, who's got more experience, who can help train the women of the future. And she goes out the ring, she grabs a box and she brings it in, and she reveals a replica of the NXT Women's title, crowning herself the true NXT Women's Champion, and champion NXT can be proud of. And then Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux give a promo. The typical Karrion Kross time. Some to an ally, some an enemy. Says to him it is an ally time. But to Garza, to Guevara, it is their enemy. Because no matter the result tonight, time starts to tick for Garza, maybe for Guevara as well. And at NXT TakeOver in your house, that time will run out when they step foot in the ring with Karrion Kross. And he makes sure that their time in the WWE is incredibly shortened by the actions he will do. 60 rated segment, good. Next up, you see Velveteen Dream backstage. He goes to William Regal's office. He knocks on the door. He kind of goes in, Mr. Regal, and he notices Aleister Black sitting cross-legged, looking quite uncomfortable on a chair at William Regal's desk. Regal says to come in, Dream. He says that he thinks he knows why Velveteen Dream's here. That the two men obviously have done very well. Tag team wise, NXT is the cruiserweight title now. So he says he wants to keep Black and Dream around. He thinks he knows what they both want, so he says he will give both men an opportunity to earn a shot at the NXT Championship going forward. Then Black kind of gets up, walks up to Dream, kind of squares up to him, then just walks past and leaves. 63, good. And then next up, the tag match. Keith Lee and Mustafa Ali versus Cameron Grimes and Shelton Benjamin. And Keith Lee and Mustafa Ali get the win. Keith Lee pinning Cameron Grimes with the Spirit Bomb. For 55, Keith Lee 64. Cameron Grimes with a 50, Ali 42, Benjamin 34. Towards the end of the match, Cameron Grimes and Sean kind of get into disagreement, and Sean just says, you know what, ain't worth it. And he just kind of walks away. Grimes kind of shocked and then turns around into the Spirit Bomb. Keith Lee picking up the win, and then after the match, him and Ali kind of squaring down, prepared for their future NXT North American Championship match, which will be happening next week. And then next up, we go backstage, and Shara Shubin notices Phineas Bullard and Paul Heyman leaving William Regal's office. She stops them and says, you know, Mr. Bullard, Mr. Heyman, what are you two doing here? What were you discussing with William Regal? And Paul Heyman says that his client Thaddeus Bullard and himself were disgusted by the offer Drake Maverick put forward contract-wise, so they will not be staying on Raw. They're looking for a new place of employment. They were here discussing with Mr. Regal. Mr. Regal put forward some very promising looking terms, but until himself and Mr. Bullard are fully pleased with what is offered, they won't be signing with anyone, and the Intercontinental title will stay with Thaddeus Bullard as a free agent. Then finally, the main event, Angel Garza, Sammy Guevara. If Guevara wins, he will be added to the NXT Championship match at NXT TakeOver in your house. And Angel Garza picks up the win with the wing clipper in 10 minutes, 25 seconds, 57 segment rating. Lack of psychology brought it down. Disappointing. 66 Garza, 64 Guevara. In-ring performance-wise, it's quite good. It's just the lack of psychology that brought it down by well. And Garza was off his game. But Garza gets the win. So Guevara will not be added to the NXT Championship match, a takeover in your house. And Garza, he's celebrating. It was a hard-fought battle. When suddenly, Karrion Kross appears with Scarlett Bordeaux, and Karrion Kross locking in the cross jacket on Garza, choking him out until he's unconscious on the mat. And Kross and Bordeaux pose with the NXT Championship over him, 59. Scarlett Bordeaux did not come out looking good, oh well. It's about Garza and Kross mainly. And that's it for NXT 61. It is a bit disappointing. We've got to work up popularities and performances, and hopefully that number will just go up. I'm not too concerned with this. It's the start of a new year. It's building up new superstars, so I'm not too worried about that. But that is it for NXT. So next up, to end the post-WrestleMania week, is Smackdown Live. And Smackdown Live, getting straight into the action here. The Usos making their way down to the ring when the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, SmackDown Tag Team Champions, attack them from behind, and the four men just brawl it out on the ramp, around the ring side area, eventually getting in the ring, the match getting underway, and the two teams got out for a bit, and in the end, the Usos disqualified. New Day looking like they might pick up the victory when Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu rush in, attacking Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, just like they did attacked Big E and Edge on Monday night, beating them down. The New Day retaining by disqualification. Kofi Kingston put in a good performance, 47s for everyone else, 61 for Kingston. Bloodline got the advantage until Big E and Edge both run down to the ring, Universal and WWE champions, rush down to the ring with steel chairs in hand, the Bloodline scattering out the ring. Roman Reigns, a smug look on his face. He thinks he's got the upper hand, he believes, as the Bloodline make their way up the ramp as Big E and Edge check on Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. 69 for the segment. Big E and Edge coming across well as Roman Reigns. Then next up, a little rundown of the Women's Universal Tournament to crown the inaugural Women's Universal Champion. Tonight we have Naomi and Peyton Royce, where the winner will face off against the winner of the other match tonight, Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville. And then next week, Rhea Ripley versus Mandy Rose, and who will face off against the winner of Carmella Ruby Riott. 49 for that one, that's good. And then little interview between Kayla Braxton and Paige. Paige runs down the tournament and then announces that Rio has vacated the $1 Million Championship. She wants to be closer to home. She's going to be going to NXT Japan for a bit. And Paige announces that a $1 Million Championship tournament will also be happening. The bracket looking like this: 4 open spots, which will go to the losers of the 4 Women's Universal matches previously mentioned. 48 Paige, very good with our script. And then the first match, Naomi versus Peyton Royce in the Women's Universal Tournament. Peyton Royce picks up the win, just under 8 minutes. 46 rated segment, 47 for Naomi, 36 for Peyton Royce. That's good. Billy Kay did some great work at ringside, not surprised. Peyton Royce gets the win, advances to the next round of the Women's Universal Tournament, whilst Naomi drops into the $1 Million Championship Tournament. Next up, Kayla Braxton interviewing Big E and Edge. Big E and Edge, not happy. They say Kofi and Xavier are being looked over by medics right now, but they should be fine. And they talk to Paige, and Paige has commissioned the main event 4v4, the New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Edge versus the Bloodline, 4v4. So that should be good. 71 here. Big E and Edge once again stealing the show, unsurprisingly. And then next up, a promo video for DIY. Obviously brandless at the moment, and they're going to be coming to Smackdown, obviously, as the Defiant Tag Team Champions, the last ones. They get a Smackdown Tag Title match in the future. Just introducing the audience to them to a bit. And 72, they both came across well. That's good. And then next up, Bobby Lashley heading to the ring through the backstage area, where he bumps into the Big Show, and two men just kind of stare down before Bobby Lashley passes him. 70, that's good. Then Bobby Lashley defeating Dominic Dijakovic. He gets the running slam. He doesn't look. He looks happy. He looks like he has an idea. He picks up Dijakovic and hits a choke slam before getting the pin. 53-58 from Lashley. And then the Big Show makes his way down to the ring. He squares up with Lashley before getting a mic and shouting to bring a ref down, bring someone out for him to fight. And it's Corbin, and Big Show gets the win with the knockout punch. 52 from Big Show, gets good. 48 segment rating. Big Show gets the ring, and then him and Lashley just kind of square down again. So we'll see how that one goes in the future. Next up, Roman Reigns giving a promo, just going over their action, saying WrestleMania Universal title, he lost, but it wasn't him who lost, it was Adam Cole. He was not pinned. And he's talked to Paige about it, and he will get his shot 1v1 against Big E at Backlash for the Universal title. It explains their actions a bit, saying that Edge, Big E, what they did on Monday was just a preview of what's to come for Big E. He says Edge, he could have stayed out of the way, but Edge got involved, and that's why in the main event tonight, the Bloodline are going to teach Big E, Edge, Kofi, Xavier, all of them a lesson. 79, that's good. So next up is a interview segment. Kayla Braxton interviewing Montez Ford. Montez Ford obviously, after WrestleMania, hasn't got a brand at the moment. His loss meaning he had to leave Raw, and looks like he's getting a chance here at SmackDown. He says Paige is giving him an opportunity. He wants to show her what he's got to offer. Monday night to Friday night SmackDown. He says that he wants a chance to finally show that on his own he can achieve big things. So obviously he had the Street Profits, and then him and Dawkins split up, and Dawkins got the win at Mania. He wants to show that he, on his own, he can make it in WWE. 42. Disappointing a little bit. But then Dolph Ziggler versus Montez Ford up next, and Montez Ford gets the win. Robert Roode goes to distract Montez Ford. Montez Ford he goes over to him. Dolph Ziggler prepares to sneak in with the super kick. Ford ducks it. Ziggler accidentally super kicking Roode. Ford hitting a drop kick, and then the frog splash, get the win. 62 for Ford, very good. 51 overall. And then next up, Thaddeus Bullard and Paul Heyman, seen coming out of Paige's office, like with Regal on NXT. Cal Braxton stops them. They once again reiterate they're exploring their options, seeing who is going to make an offer suitable of a man of Thaddeus Bullard's pedigree. When Apollo Crews is walking by, he walks up to Bullard and he says he wants a shot at that Intercontinental title. And Bullard just kind of laughs off and says that Crews isn't on his level. And Crews does not look happy at that. Whilst Bullard and Heyman just kind of walk away. Braxton asks Crews his thoughts, and he just kind of goes, just kind of laughs it off a little before walking away. 59. And then Rhea Ripley has a promo video, just like the DIY did. She's obviously in the Women's Universal Tournament, making her SmackDown debut next week. Just a little preview for people, show her what she's about a bit. 74, very good. And then next up, speaking of the Women's Universal Tournament, Bianca Belair versus Sonya Deville for 49. Bianca Belair gets the win, advances in the tournament. 50 for Bianca Belair, very good. 43 for Sonya Deville, happy with that. Which means the first semi-final is set, Bianca Belair versus Peyton Royce. And then next up, we cut backstage, it's a bit frantic, and you see Apollo Crews attacking Thaddeus Bullard. Thaddeus Bullard, he's wearing a suit, he's not ready for action. Apollo Crews just attacking him, in the end picking up and putting a powerbomb onto a car. And Apollo Crews just kind of laughs and says, "Who's on your level now?" And it's a little taste, perhaps. Apollo Crews wants a shot at the Intercontinental title, and he seems he's willing to do things he might not have tended to do in the past to get it. And then next up, we have the main event, the 4v4, the New Day and Edge versus the Bloodline. And the New Day and Edge, the faces, they pick up the win. It gets a bit frantic at the end, as they tend to do in these matches. Kofi and Xavier take the Usos out of the ring before Roman Reigns throws them out. Big E and Roman Reigns face to face. They just kind of slug it out for a minute before they kind of ball over the top. And Jacob Fatu, the Ligu man in the ring, looks out. He's like, should I help them? Before turning around into the spear from Edge. Edge picking up the win for his team. 68 segment, that's alright. Performance wise, Roman Reigns, Big E was 79, 75 from Edge. The three men, as you'd expect, have the edge in ring performance wise. But yeah, got the crowd hot. Good match, good little main event. The New Day and Edge celebrate the Bloodline. Not happy. And that's it for SmackDown 71. A little disappointing, but oh well. Hopefully get the ratings up as we go forward. And that concludes the post WrestleMania week. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, they're all done. Looking forward to next week now. We got quite a lot going on Raw. Obviously the hardcore tournament will be continuing. Over on NXT, you've got the Cruiserweight tournament starting, as well as, of course, the main event for North American title, Mustafa Ali defending against Keith Lee. And then on SmackDown, the Women's Universal Tournament will be continuing. The $1 Million tournament will be starting. And in the main event, Jeff Hardy will get a chance at revenge against Jey Uso. Obviously, Jeff Hardy looking for a bit of revenge, one-on-one, first chance he's getting since Jey Uso turned on him last Survivor Series. And will he be able to get out ahead? We will find out. And that is all for this week. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you.